Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Homestead Miami Speedway for, well, we've got 3 rounds to go, so we are on round number 33 of the season. We are getting to the tail end of the ANZCAR Cup Series. I'm Carl Bookerton with you, and joining me up here in the booth tonight is Mark Johansson. Mark, how are you going, mate?
Good, mate. Good. Looking forward to this. This is going to be a nail biter. And yeah, one of these two after the night may have their hand on the championship trophy, but then again, one of them may not, or both of them may not. Great race last week. Now I got to jump in a little bit ahead here. We ended the last broadcast on a bit of a controversy, and we'll bring Matt into this, Carl. Matt, can we have an update on Pearce's result from last week? Because when we interviewed him, he was having issues with his telemetry. Can you clarify, did he get given the win or was he DQ'd?
The win, he kept the win. We were able to grab some telemetry from him, and we were satisfied that we had the telemetry from him, and there was no penalties.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, Carl, I think that would have made Neil's night and Neil's chase, because he's been having a terrible chase, as you know, with the ones where you've been out of mate. So that's a nice way to come towards the end of the season for him.
Absolutely, he has had a mountain of bad luck following him in the chase this season, and it's something you see in the chases. Sometimes the regular season does not go your way, but the chase will absolutely follow you in that direction, and sometimes the chase will absolutely break you down after a fantastic season. And Pearson was one of those drivers that had a great run in the regular season, but caught out in the chase. So that leaves the standings as we head into this round, with Andrew Dyson in the lead of the chase by 2 points over Edward Foster in second place. 25 points behind the leader is Daniel Hederscheid. He is going to need to have a good, strong result tonight and hope that his teammate and Dyson do not. Just behind them in fourth position is Jason Martin, 50 points down, with Josh Micklemore 53 points down, and Neil Pearson in sixth, 79 off the chase. And pretty much down from Pearson onwards, they're sort of out of contention, you've got to say, at this stage. You really would be real bad luck for Dyson and Foster for them to catch up right now. They would need an awful amount of bad luck.
Yeah, definitely. And this tonight is a place where that could happen. We've spoken to a few drivers, and these rear tyres go very quick, Carl. They're saying that they're only getting about 15 laps before the real big drop-off. And the left rear is the main culprit. So we may see a few cars snapping to the left and then snapping very hard back to the right as they try and correct it.
Absolutely. And when you have a tyre dropping off in after 15 laps in a 50-odd lap run, you are going to be absolutely hating the rest of that race. It's never fun having a tyre drop off it's such an early stage of the stint. Sometimes they come back a little bit as the race goes on, of course. You start going a little bit slower and the car can get a little bit easier to control. But we are seeing a lot of people having trouble out there at the moment, especially with the rear. Losing it, especially out of turn 4, coming onto this start-finish straight we see here.
Yeah, definitely. And the track, excuse me, start again. The trucks on Monday night were the exact same thing. They really got loose, and I myself, I don't mind the trucks, and I was having a run, and mate, just could not get my head around it. So I thought I'd do the right thing and give Hamish a clear run when he called up to me on lap 35, and I went, yep, that'll do me for the night.
I was about to say, I a bit psycho. Hamish wasn't having such a grand night.
No, I just didn't want to be a mobile chicane and wreck anyone's championship. You know, and I don't know if we can jump on the Dyson there, Matt. Yeah. Oh, sorry, you were. I'm looking at the wrong screen. We can even see the championship leading having issues there with that bit of a run-up, warm-up.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a tough couple of weeks heading up after this one as well as we head to Martinsville and then finally heading to Phoenix. So 2 tracks that are very tricky to run, but the cars are lining up at the front, and you can see it's an Atari 1-2 at the front of the grid. On row number 1, it is Daniel Hedderscheid snatching pole position from Edward Foster, his teammate. Second row, we have Dyson and Micklemore lining up. So 4 chase contenders up in the top 4 rows. Darren Lobb comes back into the series in 5th, with Philip Worley in 6th on the 3rd row. 4th row is Martin and Pearson. 5th row, we have Carol Walden and Neil. On the 6th row, it is Phelps and Urquio. Row number 7, we have Malone and Schultz. On the 8th row, it's Tompkins and Raymond. On the 9th row, it's Stevie Dubb and Paul Jackson. And round us out tonight is Tom Pritchard on the 10th row, all by his own out there. A lot of teammates lining up next to each other out there tonight, so that's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out, of course.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this front row pans out. You know, Daniel will want to get out in the lead, but Ed will also want the lead. So it's going to be interesting to see which way those two play the game tonight. And then Dyson's got his teammates behind him, so Josh is the black horse in there.
Yeah, he's a bit of the odd car out at the moment in there. He has got a teammate just a row behind him though, a couple of rows behind him in Jason Martin. You can see there's a couple of purple cars behind there, and the one on the inside is Jason Martin, so he's going to be looking for a good runner, trying to get up there and work out with his teammate in the Mitch Motorsport team. But we are coming around ready to get ready for this race. Pace car coming onto turns 3 and 4. It's going to be a hectic one tonight, I think, and hopefully we can get away with not too many accidents, but don't be surprised if we see some. It is round 33 of the ANZCAR Cup, brought to you by 24 Sim Services, and we are green here at Homestead, Miami.
Yeah, bit of a slow start there by Hedderscheid, and Dyson sat right on his bumper to make sure he could go with him. So we'll see where this goes. Ed's staying high. Yep, he's going to drop in here. Dyson's going to come up. So we're already starting to see him go single file. That inside lane will take a bit of time to come up and start working. But again, if it's anything like Monday night, you don't want to be on that low line because it burns the tyres out quickly.
Does indeed. A little bit further back, it is anything but single file, running too wide for that first lap, and you can see down the inside is Barry Neal looking to get past there. He got down on the inside, Lachlan Lackwear running up a little bit high. A few cars trying to sort themselves out a little bit further up in the field. We've got Micklemore side by side at the moment, just losing position, falling in just in front of Joshua Carroll Walden. Big starter in that one was Jason Martin.
Yeah, I was just looking at that Lockie's car. He's running right up against the fence through 3 and 4 then. Sorry, 1 and 2. So he's dropped back down now. But he wouldn't have had much room between that right-hand side of the car and the wall.
It's not a track to play it safe at Homestead though, is it? It's one of those tracks where sometimes you've got to be brave and run that slightly higher line. And it's a perilous act. It can gain you a bit of time if you're brave enough to keep it flat out when you're just a couple of mils from that wall.
Yeah. We're just seeing there JCW. I don't know if people can see the black join lines in the track there. That's a good indication of your lanes. And that line just outside of JCW, that's where I found on Monday night the best place to be to get the longevity out of the tyres. But in saying that too, where Lachlan was running may even be a better one with the way these Cup cars behave.
Yeah, that's it. Very different style of car. I mean, both high horsepower, both low grip. Of course, the truck a little bit less weight over the rear axle, but these Cup cars a lot more power in them, and also those slightly lower profile tyres can really change up how they act on the corners, and we have seen that in the past with these things. They just act so differently with those low profiles, and and it really changes their behaviours. Up the front, we've got Foster making a move for the lead at the moment on Heddershide. Heddershide up high, Foster on low, gets past him. Also, some news, Darren Lobb has unfortunately dropped out of the server, so we've lost Darren Lobb from this race, unfortunately. Looks like some kind of technical issue.
Yeah, definitely. And talking to these cars, Carl, there's some big changes coming through NASCAR for these next year. Some different framework in the rear end, and they're talking about modifying the diffuser. So it's going to change cars up yet again for next season.
Well, it's something that we love to see from the watching perspective, not so much from the driving perspective, because it really does shake things up. And some of these drivers have got to grips to this car now, having it shaken up, especially with a big change in the diffuser, will really change their handling. Up the front, we got Dyson just trying to make a move on Heddershide at the moment. Gets a good run off the exit of the corner with that high line, just a nose ahead of Heddershide here, coming into the final couple of corners. Chops down, gets in front of Heddershide there. Dyson on the charge up towards the front of the pack.
Nice move, nice, good run. He worked that high line perfectly then, and this is what we were saying earlier, that there's different lines, and that high line may be starting to come in, but there's not many cars running up there through the turns. So everyone seems to be doing the conventional diamond or cutting down to the apex and running that low line through the turns.
Yeah, which can sort of come to hurt latter in the stint, of course, as a little bit of the tyre debris gets thrown up onto the higher line. Beverly keeps in the low line. Sometimes the high line does not tend to pick up as it doesn't get the rubber laid down on it, and that can really change the way the track reacts. Ooh, a little bit further back, Philip Wally just had a big moment just in front of these cars here. He just managed to collect it just in the entry to turn one, had a big moment running up very high, managed to get back online though, and you can see now Ruben Phelps working his way up, trying to get past Josh Micklemore there.
New paint scheme there for Ruben tonight. He's revamped one of his older paints, the Hot Wheels car.
He has indeed. It's nice to see the odd Hot Wheels livery back out there. I remember racing against that long ago. The 22 of the Airtora Racing entry of Barry Neal gets down underneath the Hot Wheels car and gets up into 8th position. Good little racing down to the back end of the pack here. Nice to see. The front end's a little bit more sedate, I would say. Foster's still in the lead, but cars are starting to catch up to him now. They are getting up close to the rest of the battle pack. Forgive me, I was just seeing a car up on the wall, but no, they just had a little glance and everything is fine.
So we've, 3 rounds to go. Who's your money on, Carl?
Oh, look, I don't want to give anybody the curse. Look, it's going to be tight between Foster and Dyson. I'd really like to see Heddershide get up a little bit closer, make it into a three-way battle for the championship spoils, of course. And what a comeback story it would be if somebody like Jason Martin or Josh Micklemore could get back up into the chase and actually into a position where they could win it. But I think a safe bet is to say Foster and Dyson coming into the final rounds at the moment. But it is motorsport, and this can always change.
Yeah, well, I believe I don't believe, I know. We're at Martinsville next week, and I believe Ed likes that track a fair bit. So it's going to be interesting to see how Dyson handles a short track in the chase with his background more of a road racer.
Yeah, he has had some good runs on the short tracks, though. He is no slouch on those. Not that he's a slouch on any track, I think. It's one of those things with Dyson. He's absolutely come alive and improved from when he first came in on the short tracks, getting very quick on those. And he sort of started to struggle a little bit with the more cookie cutter tracks, and then he's improved on them as well. He's just absolutely improving with those races. But you can't discount Foster. He knows what it's like to win the chase. He has done it before, and he is an absolute expert on Martinsville. He's one of those drivers that I think it's a safe bet to say him, but it is Martinsville, and anything can happen.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, Martinsville or all short tracks are like super speedways. You just never know what's going to happen, what's around that next turn, and it can catch a lot of people out.
Absolutely, just getting caught out a little bit. I think
Yeah.
Ruben Phelps might have just had a bit of a moment there.
Now just watching this up front, Daniel closes right up on the back of Dyson, mid corner, and also Josh is giving him a good push.
There's some good racing up towards the front, and it has closed up a bit now. That pack has really closed up from Foster down to a little slide there for Heddershide.
Yeah, as you're saying, Carl, we can see JCW. I'm not sure who's the 233, is it? Of another DPR car, Philip Woolley.
Yeah, Mr. Woolley.
Yep, and Jason Martin, all closing up. But then again, Barry Neal and Neil Pearson is also wanting part of this front end action.
Yeah, they're all chomping at the bit to get through and try and get up into the front. I think people want to be more in the lead at the moment of this race.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a hard one. When we raced here at night time, so it was a totally different track. But after running the truck here on Monday, I don't know if I'd want to be out the front.
Oh, man is trying to make that move, though, is Andrew Dyson down the inside of Foster. Foster taking a slightly higher line around there, and he's just got that car nice and turned in. He's going to get a good run off the corner now. Foster's going to bolt in front of Dyson, manages to hold that position back.
We also had seen two passes there. Pearson get underneath Barry Neal, that was for position, and also Jason Martin got under Philip Woolley. So two great moves there in the one lap, and it's starting to turn out like some of our other races, Carl, where you're just not sure where to watch.
Good problem to have when there's a fertile race going on, lots of action on the track at the moment. All places are good to watch, and it's what we love about the series. You know, there is never a dull period, which is always good as a broadcaster, because it gives us lots to talk about.
Most definitely does.
Just a little update, Darren Lobb has managed to get back out on the track in the 99. So the black DPR car is back out in action, but is a fair few laps down, 8 laps down, unfortunately. So he's going to hope for a couple of cautions just to get those back.
And just up front again, Barry Neal, he's got some pressure on Philip Woolley, trying to run side by side.
Hey, watching the cars on the exit of turn 4 at the moment, they're getting so close to the wall. And they are really playing a wall of death around this track, which is great to watch.
I was just going to say, I wonder if that other Kiwi, Ruben Phelps, will join up with Barry to try and push him past.
Working together a little bit, and it can be good to on a track like this to start working together a little bit, because there's a little bit less. Phelps has a big moment. Great save there from Phelps on the exit of turn 4. Was there contact between the two cars?
Don't think there was. I think that's just that left rear really dropped off. You can see him there. Yeah, it's just that rear tyres. That tyre just starting to really drop off. We're on lap 21, so yeah, it's definitely the drop-off time.
We are bang on that point for the tyres to start dropping off. Up the front, though, we've got a great battle going on between Foster, Dyson, Heddershide, Micklemore, JCW, Martin, Pearson, and Philip Woolley just holding on the back of this group. But Dyson has been really pushing Foster for the last few laps, but he's starting to get attacked now by Heddershide. He's going to help his teammate out here by just pulling Dyson off a little bit, letting Foster have a bit of a breather, because he had to drive defensively for a lot of those laps.
Yeah, and driving defensively also it tends to burn your tyres a little bit quicker. And yeah, it's not something Foster would want to have to do. So Daniel's working really well in trying to battle Dyson. And realistically, fair's fair. He's in the chase. He's in the chance for the chase, and same with Micklemore. He's there too. So we don't want to see those three take each other out. That's for sure.
Well, I just want to mention we've got 5 drivers, all technically able to get the chase. The top 5 is Foster, Dyson, Heddershide, Micklemore, Martin. So all 5 of those drivers are lined up in in their rows, and all 5 of the chase drivers up the front of the field, really pushing at the moment. But it's giving Foster a chance to pull away a little bit. You can see this battle between Dyson and Heddershide really spicing up now. So much action at the front of this pack. And just been keeping an eye on Joshua Carroll-Walden. He's been running that high line for a fair few laps now. He's dropped back a little bit in pace, but that's going to help just ease the tyre wear a little bit. So it could be a thing, of course. Also, the tyres' temperature as well. It is a hot track out there. It's 40 degrees Celsius. So that is going to affect them as well. So if you can get those tyres in a nice operating temperature, that's going to be really helpful for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't want to. Well, you've really got to find that sweet spot in these tyres. And Heddershide's not giving up on Dyson. He's definitely going to take it to him, and that's what he's doing. Keeps sticking his nose down that inside, then having a look outside.
A driver that's struggling at the moment, I just gone back and saw, because I caught a car going sideways at the top of my screen, and it is Ruben Phelps. He's really struggling for traction, especially out of turn 4. Car is just losing that little bit. The back end is just stepping out on him, and he's struggling for pace. Meanwhile, up the front, Dyson and Heddershide still going at it. Looked like Heddershide was just trying to have a move there. Decided against it, slipped back in behind Dyson, but they are putting on the pressure now. Earlier in the stint, Dyson was putting all the pressure on Foster. Now he's having all the pressure put onto him.
And Foster will be looking in his rearview mirror saying, "Thanks very much, mate. This is what I need." So yeah, it's great teamwork in the sense that Heddershide's keeping Dyson busy.
Yeah, it's going to be just a little bit useful, just to help with a little bit of breathing room. It does help your mentality a little bit if you've got that little bit of breathing space behind you. You just don't tend to look in the mirror quite as much, and you can focus on that racetrack, which Foster's doing a great job at the moment, metronomic in his ability to place a car, just keeping it in exactly the right place at the right time, as we see the 51 going around there. Or 15. Big moment, lots of damage on the front of that car. Good, surprised we didn't get a caution there. That was a big one. He's gone up into the wall after a little bit of a snap on the rear. He snapped it back up into the wall, broken the front tow rod. That wheel is not where it should be, and it's wobbling around a bit. And that's Tom Pritchard going in for a lengthy stop, I would say.
I don't think the duct tape's going to work on that.
Oh, enough duct tape will finish it. She'll be right. It's just, there's never a problem it can't fix. It just depends how much duct tape you've got for the day.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I link out duct tape. I mean, it'll be fine.
Another one where it just snapped on him.
And it's very hard to save a car in a situation like that. And you'll see a couple of drivers, they get away with it sometimes, and it's almost a get out of jail free card, because you can see there with Pritchard, it's so easy to lose the car. And when it snaps like that, it's very hard, because you're sort of counter-steering for the brake of traction from the rear, and then all of a sudden it grips up and then flings you into the wall, and there's nothing you can do to save a car in that situation.
And Tom's not having a real good time in pit lane. He's just had to reverse back 3 pit stalls. So a lengthy pit stop and maybe a penalty coming.
A big one there. You see almost free wide action here between Martin, Micklemore and Pearson. We've got a great little racer position up here, and Barry Neal's coming to join this group as well. He's thinking, oh, this looks fun. This looks like I could have some fun here. He's just sneaking up to the back of these free cars and thinking, get a couple of spots here if I play my cards right. Great battle for position up there.
Yeah, definitely. I might just duck down and see if I can get hold of Tom in their team chat, and maybe see if we can get him up and have a quick chat. What do you think, Carl?
Absolutely, yeah. If he's available, absolutely. Thanks, Mark. Up the front, it is still Foster, Dyson, Heddershide, the order that we left it in. It's still Heddershide putting great pressure on the back of Dyson. Foster with a tiny bit of breathing room. Little bit of a run there for Heddershide, but can't quite make it work. Each time, it's almost a tantalisingly close move for them. Meanwhile, Martin, Micklemore, Pearson and Neil are going at it, and you can just see in the background there, Darren Love as well in that group, but a good 8 laps down.
Carl, while we've got a bit of a breather, we've got Tom's been good enough to come up and have a chat. Mate, not a great night for you in the Sky Point car. Tell us what happened. Just snapped loose on you?
Yeah, about a little bit of lack of running out of talent, as they say. Just snapped a bit loose. The setup package for this track is probably hard to describe, or probably hard to understand. But it's very, very easy to burn your tyres up, and my tyres are what you call kind of marshmallows by now. So yeah, just slipping and sliding all over the place, and just broke loose on me. Tried to correct it, and then we ended up having a nice little face plant into the concrete there. So that's pretty much my night done. It's about 10 minutes of repairs due on this car. So
okay. So you got 10 minutes. Will you get back out and do some more laps, or?
Well, there's 10 minutes of required plus 7 minutes of optional. So I think knowing this car, you need to really repair as much of those optionals as well. So I might get back out in 15 minutes, but I don't want to get in anyone's way. So it is what it is. If you're not competitive, it's one of those things, isn't it? But
yeah, it definitely is, mate. All right, mate. Not a way we like to see anyone go out, but Martinsville next week. Up for a run at Martinsville?
And always up for a run there, but I must admit my favourites are the big open tracks, speedways, that kind of stuff. But Martinsville it will be short, sharp, and I'm sure full of fun. So I'll be there, and hopefully with a bit of a straighter car. I think my boys have got a few hours of repairs to do to get this car back into shape.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, hard luck tonight, mate. Hope we see you back out there on the track. And Jack, thanks for joining us in the booth.
No worries. Thanks very much, and thanks for the stream. It's fantastic to see the broadcast going, and it's all really good.
No worries, mate. Thanks very much for joining us.
As Tom joined us up in the booth, I was looking at some of the satellite team, sister teammates Schultz and Malone in the Southern Stars entries a little bit further down. They were having a good race with Ruben Phelps. Malone and Schultz pulling out a little bit there, running well a little bit further down the field. Ruben Phelps seems to be having a terrible night as well. That tyre just seems to not want to cool down on him. I've seen it a fair few laps now where the back end has stepped out on him.
Yeah, he's definitely not having a good night good afternoon in his car. I know he's been having a few issues with some equipment at home too. He's having a real issue with his wheel. So maybe that's having a bit to do with it.
Yeah, that can be tricky when all of those things come at you, and it just does not make things easier whatsoever. We are getting into that stage where we could see some early stops happening soon, if people choose it. So, could start seeing some pit stops in the very near future here, especially if we're going to try sort of a slightly early stop to try and jump a few cars. Probably in the next 3 to 4 laps, I'd say those real early stints will start happening.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at the time, Carl. Drop-off's been 2 seconds from the start of the race. Um, the guys have been doing 33s is the best, and they're down to 35s now. Everyone down to Noddy is in the 35s. Or actually, Matty Raymond's just done a 35. So anyone like Aidan Schultz, Paul, Ruben, and Dylan are all in the 36s.
Yeah, there's a few different speeds going on out there, and there's some lines starting to take shape as well. I'm just watching a few cars try and take the high line, and a few drivers are trying a few things different. I wonder if we're going to see anyone try for a very different strategy called come in a little bit earlier, see if they can get a bit of a jump on people, see if that will pay out. We have, of course, got the tyres limited to 4 sets, of course, so that means that you can only change them 3 times during the race. You get the set you start on, and then you get the other sets throughout the race. So you have to be cautious of that, especially here where there is quite a big drop-off.
Yeah, definitely, and it throws another little element into the race too. Some drivers don't like it, having the tyres restricted, but I say it makes another thing people have to think about.
It does. A bit of a move up the front between Dyson and Hedderscheid. Hedderscheid managed to get up in front of Dyson, and now Dyson is going, no, I don't want you in front of me. A little bit further back, we've got some good action going on between Barry Neal and Josh Mickelmore as well, side by side too. So, action throughout the field. Watch this little battle between chase contenders at the moment. It is still very close. Hedderscheid's got a little bit of the car up ahead of Dyson there. Doesn't quite hold it through the corner. We'll get better run off the corner here though, looking that high line. Will he be able to take advantage of it? We'll soon find out. Off the corner he comes, does not make it in front of Dyson. Dyson getting the position back.
I was actually thinking he may try for the undercut there, or the switchback, I should say, and get onto that low line and stick his nose up inside.
So we've got a first stopper in Stevie Dubb, who is in pit lane now. I said watch out for pitters in the next 3 or 4 laps, and Stevie Dubb's decided to take that option. So this will be interesting and see how his race pans out, because he's decided to take a slightly different strategy to the rest of the teams out there, rest of the drivers. And this will be crucial information for the rest of the DPR crew as well. If he says it's good, it will work out. JCW jumping into pit lane now for Natari. So I said about team information, that will be critical for Natari's information there. So interesting to see some different strategies starting to play out.
Yeah, definitely. And that's probably 10 laps earlier than what you'd expect a lot of guys to see. Is that Adam Malone in there? And Aidan Schultz. So yeah. The other 2 Southern Star cars are in pits also.
So they've decided to come in together and going to come back out, work with each other. Josh Mickelmore coming in now as well. We've got a slew of stops happening. I think people have gone, yep, I've had enough of these tyres. I want to get onto some fresh ones.
So I wonder though if Dyson's going to try and catch Ed out and get in and get on fresh rubber and leave Ed out there hanging. But I'd say they're probably going to end up coming in and mirroring each other.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who blinks up the front first. Who's going to decide to take that option? Barry Neal in pit lane with Paul Jackson as well. So we've got a few stops happening. I'm going to keep an eye on Stevie Dubb, who just did a 34.1 last time round. He has got some great pace on those new tyres. Of course, coming in early is great for the undercut, but you do leave yourself a little bit more open in the latter stages of the stint, as people on those fresher tyres coming out of pit lane will have the advantage then. So I think we're going to see a few people try and stick out as long as they can before they come in. Sure, I'm going to eat my words any second now. But up the front, there is a very close battle now. Foster has got Dyson all over the back of him. Dyson gets a good run off of turn number 2, going down to 3 and 4, side by side, Foster and Dyson. Foster on the high line, Dyson on the low line. It's a good run out there. Oh, bit of a snap for Dyson, but he holds it nicely. Gets the car through the corner. Heddershide coming into pit lane. Foster behind Dyson. Dyson leads a lap, and that's going to be an all-crucial bonus point as well for him.
Pearson's in pit lane also.
I can't see these guys sticking it out too much longer. In all honesty, I imagine they're going to be coming in relatively soon. But it can, a late caution or something like that could really, really pay off for people sticking it out as long as possible.
Now the shoes on the other foot. Does Ed try and get in and leave Dyson out there for a lap?
It looks like, I'm just looking at Foster's time, he's dropped off a bit. I wonder if he's saving a little bit. Just keeping it going in this early stage of the race. We've still got 80 laps remaining, remember. That was, Dyson very close to the wall there. Just in peripheral vision there, I saw that one. But we've still got 80 laps remaining here tonight, so a little bit of an off-kilter strategy now could pay off in the latter stages of this race, as very late on the brakes there.
And here it is. Foster's in. And he's left Dyson out there.
Foster pulls the trigger, gets in nice and early, and this is going to be interesting to see how much time Foster's going to lose from this as well. JCW is right behind Heddershide at the moment. The 035 and the 35 are right together on track with Barry Neal. So this is a big race happening now.
Yeah.
We saw Heddershide stick it out a little bit longer, and JCW down pit lane a little bit earlier.
Foster's taken all 4 tyres. He was into his pit box perfectly. And he's out.
Dyson's still out on track. He's decided not to pull the trigger yet. We've got Andrew Dyson, Philip Wally, Noddy Tompkins all without stopping at the moment. So, a few cars out there.
Sorry, Carl. Ed's just come out and he's going to rejoin with his teammates. So that's a great stop by Foster.
He's worked it in there nicely, just behind Daniel Heddershide. And you can see that the amount of time lost on track. When Heddershide came into pit lane, he was a good few car lengths behind. Dyson's come into pit lane now. He has decided it is time to stop down pit lane. He goes, JCW goes around! Caution is out! Contact between Josh Garrett-Walden and Barry Neal, I think it was. The 22 and the 35 make contact, heavy contact for the 35 up into the wall. Caution is out. So just coming up to the first corner here, JCW gets up in front of the car of Barry Neal, and then just contact coming into the corner between the two. And Carol Walden gets flung up into the wall. Looks like there's a bit of damage, but not severe, possibly for him. So that could be something for him. This has been a great flag to come out for Andrew Dyson, Philip Worley, and Noddy Tompkins.
Just wondering, did That's going to be a tough one to call for the officials post race, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be looked at, you'd say. It's a tricky one. I mean, I guess one thing is not a lot of people got caught out by that, by being a lap down. One driver that got caught out was Ruben Phelps and Matty Ray. Those two are lapped down. Those are the only cars that got really stuck with that caution. But I think they will get the wave around. Noddy Tompkins leads the race, though, as he missed pit lane. But he will be coming in very shortly. But he got a lap led under the safety car. So he's managed to get a lap led under the pace car tonight.
That's a nice bonus point for him.
Yeah, that's it. If only they can today. But no, good run from Noddy there. Nice to be out the front, but he's coming into pit lane now. And it worked out very well for Andrew Dyson, as we say. So he's managed to get back into the lead, but it's not much difference in all honesty. It's Dyson, Heddershide, Foster, Neil, Micklemore, Pearson. Stevie Dubb got a big gain out of that one. 10 positions gained with that early stop, and that has come out. You'd say at the perfect time for Stevie Dubb, but he's now on slightly older tyres by a good 4 to 5 laps than the rest of the cars around him. So that's going to be painful on the restart.
Yeah, but in saying that too, Carl, his tyres will come up a lot quicker to temp. So he may get a good run and pick up a few spots there on the restart. Well, on the back end of that first lap of restart.
And the only problem is his tyres, we have seen they've dropped off around lap 15. So his will fall off the cliff a little bit earlier than the rest of the field around him, you'd say. But still, it's still a long way to go. 75 laps remaining tonight here for the 33rd round of the ANZCAR Cup, brought to you by 24/7 Sim Services, of course, on Performance E, streaming on YouTube and the Facebook page of ANZCAR on Facebook. We thank you very much for joining us tonight.
So those undercut ones have really got null and void by by this course from now. As you were saying, Stevie Dubb is probably going to be the quickest to get back up to race pace, as we can see the lap cars going around.
Lucky for both Ruben Phelps and Matty Ray, they both were in front of the leader, so they both got the way around. So that's a small bit of a small bit of saving for them. So it's nice to be on the lead lap.
So that puts everyone except for Darren back on the lead lap, and unfortunately with that packet loss, Darren's ended up with 7 laps down. So unfortunate for him. And by the look of it, just an update, Tom Pritchard has taken the car behind the wall. So that's his night done.
I think he's taking it behind the wall with a shotgun. With the state of the front end of that car, it's going to be put out of its misery.
Yeah, definitely.
So pace car lights are out as we come around, getting ready to hit the restart zone. Just before the start finish, pace car comes in, Dyson in the lead into the restart zone now. Wednesday drop the hammer right at the early stages. A nice start there for Dyson, gets a good leap over his rivals. Foster trying to get down the inside of his teammate Heddershide there. It's going to be a bit of action in this pack, I'd say. This car's are on a few different tyre stages. Oh, Martin gets very loose in turn number 2 there. Gets it held, gets it through. Dyson in the lead with Foster and Heddershide behind him. Barry Neal trying to get a good run up now. Does not get past Heddershide. A little bit further back, it is a lot of cars in a lot of different places. A sea of cars across the track as they are running 2 to 3 wide back there.
And it's good to see JCW back out there without a lot of damage. He'll try and work his way up to his teammates.
He's going to try and get back up there, and I'd say he's got a fair bit of that damage repaired, which is good. Luckily it wasn't too hard a hit. Looks like they just pulled the fender out, got it back into action, and he did not take tyres on my screen, so he's on the same tyres as when he stopped. So battle pack behind the group now. You can see Barry Neal with Neil Pearson and Josh Micklemore behind him.
And his teammate Jason is there too. So that's excuse me, a lot of teamwork going on, trying to go on here. The odd person now is the Barry Neal in the 22.
Yeah, his teammate Paul Jackson is in 12th position, not too far behind. When you glance at the old timing screen, just a couple of seconds behind, but that makes a big difference when there's a pack like this running. Just looking a little bit further back, and Noddy Tompkins is on a bit of a flyer now with those very fresh tyres. He is absolutely cruising along, getting past a few of those cars. Had to stop a little tiny bit earlier. So it'll be interesting to see how this stint plays out with people on some different strategies now. It's going to spice things up for us and make for the next stint a little bit more interesting. But that caution sort of came out at the time where it really didn't hamper the race too much.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I hate to say this, and I don't want to put a curse on him, but Barry Neal's already get a little touch of on Foster there. Barry's already won a round of the chase, I believe. So can he make another non-chase car win a round of the chase?
Yeah, he would be incredibly happy to get another W next to his name this season. Would be great for him and the team. And just looking back there, Neil Pearson getting up underneath Daniel Hedderscheid, who got caught out by a few laps in that stint as well. So he's just a good 4 or 5 laps older tyres than some of the guys around him. Barry Neal, of course, he is on 15 laps on those tyres, so he's on one of the longer stints. So those tyres getting up to temperature nice and quick has given him a chance to slingshot himself up there quickly. But will we see the dreaded tyre drop-off come sooner for him? Hedderscheid getting a look on Neil now, trying to get underneath him. They've got 2 cars wide through the corner, as far back as the eye can see, between teammates there. Good run through the corner for all those guys. Stevie Dubb down in 8th position. He's the back end of that little pack with Darren Lobb there. So good restart for Stevie Dubb, and that early pit stop did pay off for him and did slingshot him up a fair few places.
Just watching here the teammates, the Mitch boys, they're swapping backwards and forwards between them. We see Matt got a good shot of them on 2 different lines there. One of them running the high line, one running the low line. But by the look of it now, they've both decided, hey, we need to work together and get one of us out front there.
Mitch boys working together, that doesn't happen very often. They like to race hard. It's always the thing, as long as there's no crashing between the cars, it's fine. That's their modus operandi.
I was just going to say it'd be a Roland Dane words, wouldn't it? Race hard but don't touch.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good way of racing. Just don't crash the car. Always the advice for anybody in racing is drive fast, don't crash. It's easier said than done, though.
See Adam Malone there having a run on Paul Jackson, and anyone can tell the difference between Paul and Barry. Those purple wheels are on Paul's car, and I know he'll go back and watch. And so I'm going to say thanks, Paul, for running those purple wheels all year.
Your favourite coloured wheels, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. One day we'll sneak up to your car and change the rims on there for you. I'd want to film that, but I don't think there's enough bleeps in the world to manage to put it out, unfortunately. Lachlan Keogh still chugging along 15th position with Noddy Tompkins and Matty Ray behind him. 2 RSRM cars down to the back of the pack tonight. Not seen a big run from Matty Ray tonight yet. He's sort of not done his usual thing of chasing his way up the field. So expect to see something work out with those cars later in the race.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Carl, we're not at lap 90 yet, so we won't see them until around lap 90 to 100 for their run.
Exactly, they have a great habit of leading 1 or 2 laps, but the important laps.
Yeah, that's right.
Look, there's only 1 lap you need to lead. That's it. It's being frugal with your laps.
Well, Matty actually did well. He got a Cup car win last weekend with us, Weekend Warriors. So it was a great result for him. Great battle with Foster, and I can't remember who else it was. But it was a fantastic win. Lachlan, it was Lockie in the 42 Toyota. So great win for him. So now that he's got his first one, it won't be long before I'd say he'll have a win up here in the Cup cars with ANZCAR.
Exactly. He's tamed the new Cup car by the sounds of it, and he's he's got his head around it, which he said it's easy said than done. We say it's a new car, of course. It's been with us for a year now, so it's very much been used and people have gotten used to it. But Carol Walden having a big moment through the corner, managing just to save it. Schultz has to lift off there, has to check up behind him. A huge moment through the corner for Carol Walden going into the corner, ran up high beside Malone, and then the car just snapped on him in the middle of 3 and 4, and he just about saves that one. Big moment there for the 35. And this is the start of those laps we've said where the tyres are going to start to get to that point where the back end's going to drop off a little bit. The heat's starting to build in them. And when you have moments like that, it just gets worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. It just seems to snowball. Once those tyres go off, unless you can get them cool again, you might as well come in and throw another set on because they're done with.
Absolutely, and heat management is one of the hardest things to do in these cup cars because it just takes a slight moment like that, millisecond of concentration lost, or just a little snap in a place you don't expect it, and you end up paying for it for the rest of that stint.
Yeah, definitely. What are these guys on? What's JC? He's on 18.
He's on 20, about 26, I think, because those tyres, he came through pit lane, of course, to get some repairs done, but he did not change those tyres.
Okay.
So he's, when did Stevie double pit? 29, so he's on 29 lap old tyres at the moment. It's a great battle going on here behind him with Schultz, Jackson, and Maddie Ray, I believe. No, Dottie Hopkins, sorry. Great battle going on here in those cars. And contact there from Lockie, and Schultz just saves the car. Looks like Schultz just managed to get the car back in the right direction. A little bit of a crinkle, though, on the front panel of that car, but saved and still moving in the right direction. That would have been a big gulp of air there from Schultz, and luckily Lachlan was in the right place to bounce him back in the right direction.
Yeah, gave him a hurry up and then straightened him up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they do say rubbing's racing.
Absolutely. A little bit of rub. You don't generally want to spin your opponent, but if you do, then put them back right direction. It's the least that you can do.
That's it. I was going to ask what happened because on the timing screen he dropped down to second last place, just in front of Darren on the timing screen. So I wasn't sure what happened, but that explains it.
Does indeed, and this battle is still going on between Carol Walden, Quio, and Noddy Tompkins. So good little battle here for 12th position. This fight is going for, and it is very fast, very furious racing.
Yeah, and look at where we're at. We're at 75, and those red and yellow cars are starting to move forward.
They're doing that thing that they often do. Been a good run for Tompkins tonight. Again, improving with the race has been great to watch him improve, and he's definitely getting the hang of this cup car.
Well, I'll let you know a little secret. He doesn't know it yet. He's only started running with the cup car this year, so don't let me down here, Noddy. He's actually in the running for Rookie of the Year with us this year, so he's improved very well this year.
Absolutely, and good guy to race against as well. I've been racing Noddy all year long in a couple of different series as well, and always gives you a nice little bit of room, which is always welcome. Not enough, but he does give you some room, which is always welcome.
Yeah. Look, we've had some great battles in the 87s that we've run, and in the cup cars. So yeah, he's always up for a laugh, and even if he doesn't, even if he just touches you, he normally is straight on the radio and apologises. Another gentleman racer, and a good person to have a laugh with post race too.
Absolutely. Big moment for Barry Neal just then. And again, that car's getting a bit snappy as we see Noddy just getting up towards Paul Jackson, I think it was. Is that? Yeah. Matty Ray. Sorry. Too many similar coloured cars at the moment. There's too many going on. But some big moments there for Paul Jackson's teammate Barry Neal. Just the car is getting a little bit snappy on him. A little bit of trouble. We've lost Aidan Schultz from the race, unfortunately. Looks like he's taking 52 behind the wall with that little bit of damage, just struggling to get that car back in the right direction. And he's pulled it up behind the wall. So 17 cars still in the race. Darren Lobb still a few laps down, unfortunately for him. But your leader is Andrew Dyson with Foster in second. About a second gap between the cars there at the front. So that's going to be sort of, it's like they're just not pushing too hard at the moment, just easing the cars through. Neil Pearson in fourth position, with Jason Martin in fifth. Philip Wally working his way up nicely in sixth position. A bit of damage on the front right panel of that car. I don't know when that happened. I was trying to have a bit of a look back. Couldn't see exactly when it happened. Just a small damage on the front. Josh Micklemore in seventh position, with Barry Neal in eighth. Ninth is Stevie Dubb. And 10th is Ruben Phelps, getting a good recovery after those early tyres just went off a bit on him, but he's being caught by Adam Malone and Noddy Tompkins. So the race has got into a bit of a calm period now, Mark.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. I was just looking at top speeds. The two quickest guys out there at that last lap was well, actually Dyson and Foster, just quick top speed of 279. So when you go back and look at some of the other tracks, the top speed here is way down, considering at some tracks we're up over 300.
Yeah, early stints I've got top speeds around about 294. I think that's the fastest I've got on my list in their best speeds. But yeah, just a slightly slower average speed here and a slightly lower top speed. It just, especially with those tyres being so hot, it tends to affect the cars a lot quicker, and it's just that traction out of the corner can really start to bite you, and that brings that top speed down quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the lap times, this set of tyres hasn't dropped off quite as much for those top three guys. They're still all in the admittedly it's the high 34s, but then Neil Pearson and Jason Martin are in the 35s. The only other person there that I can see that's in the 34s is Philip Woolley in the 233 DPR car. So everyone else, as I said, is in the 35 time bracket now.
Yeah, starting to get into that slightly. I think it's that time where people are going to start saving a little bit. We've got 46 laps remaining, so we saw stops on around about lap 42 to 48. So we might see some people trying to extend this stint a little bit so they can have a comfortable run to the end. But we are getting to that point where they can come in and make it to the finish line now. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes in first and who comes in last if we run green.
Yeah, look, I'd touch wood. I don't think we're going to see another caution. I think everyone will just settle down. But in saying that too, the caution may come towards the end of the stint, or when guys come out of the pit lane on fresh tyres from being cold.
Yeah, and it's been the story of these tyres year in, year out. Fresh ones. We see Philip Wally making a move there on Jason Martin. The two purple cars battling it out on track to make our lives harder. You just got to go, which one's that? But Philip Wally currently ahead of Martin. Good little run for Philip Wally, moving his way up into fifth position in this race. Going down the inside of Neil Pearson there, getting up into fourth.
Now, will we see these two try and work together to hold that, to get the 96 car up and join the three of them together? Darren Lobb, even though he's laps down, he still has the right to try and help his teammates to get to the front.
It's one of those things. I think it's a good opportunity as well for Lob here as well, because he's sitting nicely with that group up the front. He might be a few laps down, but he's just being able to follow lines and just see how other people are handling the car. And it sucks when you're the car that tends to go a few laps down in those circumstances, but you can learn an awful lot from that position. And he's just sat there with Jason Martin at the moment, not pushing too hard, but keeping him honest. Good to see that as well, and just keeping a really good eye on the cars. Working together on a track like this can be a bit tricky because you can't really push people. It's not like the super speedways where you sort of get the pack racing, but you can lock a line off, of course. If you work together, you can absolutely lock lines down. And just listening to what I heard Andrew Dyson clutching it a little bit then, but I might have been wrong. Just cruising around at the moment. Doesn't seem like he did. Sorry about that. But they are getting to that point now where I think pit stops are going to start happening thick and fast. Paul Jackson is in pit lane at the moment. He's the first to come down the road, and well, we've seen with that fresh tyre gain, it could pay off for him if we run green to the end.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at the Dyson's red counter there.
Sorry, Mark. Daniel Heddershide in pit lane.
So Daniel jumped in early too, the last stint. So he's sticking with that early stint. And I was just saying, by the look of that tacho there on Dyson's car, he's not clutching. He's just very, very lightly lifting out of the throttle, and then very gently putting it back into the throttle as he comes out and gets straight. So as you can see, with probably not even full throttle there, nice and easy out, let the car roll, and what you can just see there, just starting to feed it on as he starts to get straight, and then back onto it, nice and easy, great throttle control through the mid corner, and it's just a shame we can't see whether he's just dragging that brake a little bit to try and keep that car down low.
It would be nice if we could actually see proper pedal movement for our broadcasters. I'm sure people would not like their secrets going out. But you can just see the nuances of oval racing there. And same with Foster as well behind him, but just easing those cars through, just being so gentle with those pedals, not jabbing at them, just keeping it nice and smooth, keeping that application of power smooth, just so the back end does not step out. And that can be the difference between losing the tail and keeping it nice and steady at these speeds.
Yeah, you can see there, both of them are almost mirroring each other in their driving style. Ed's not quite getting hard on the throttle, just using enough pedal to get it down the straight at a reasonable speed, and then back off again in mid-corner.
Daniel Heddershide's just getting past Philip Worley now. He is a lap behind because they're on fresh tyres. We've got 37 laps remaining here, and Daniel Heddershide is absolutely flying at the moment. One of the quicker cars out there. Paul Jackson set the fastest time last time round on those laps, 33.9.
This is in.
So this, I think, is going to be go time for a lot of these cars. They're about 40 to 45 laps into their stints now, so definitely the time to pull it in.
I think everyone will take 4 tyres at this joint. I don't think anyone will be brave enough just to take rights.
With these temperatures, of course, unless it's a late stop or under the pace car, I think it would be a full 4 service, because fuel is going to take about the same time as all 4 tyres anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Philip Worley down the lane he goes now. So we're getting a nice steady trickle of drivers coming down the pit lane. Ruben Phelps in as well. So that's always nice and helpful for Matt, so he doesn't have to flail around and try and catch every single car. And just keeping an eye on the leaders at the moment. They're sticking it out there for the time being. Jason Martin looks like he's pitting as well. So Martin in pit lane now from third position. In he comes. When are the leaders going to pull the pin? When is Foster and Dyson going to try for it? Dyson currently has a 3.8 second lead over Foster. So he's got a fairly hefty cushion to fall back on here for Dyson. Will Foster try and come in those few laps earlier to try and gain that time? But of course, Dyson can just pull it in the next lap and he'll still have probably a good 1.5 second lead over Foster. As we see, Daniel Hederscheid now coming up to Andrew Dyson on those fresh tyres. He is a lap down, but he's going to get his lap back now. Gets underneath there and just has a lot more traction. Dyson trying to keep the car up there, but Hederscheid flies down the inside, back onto the lead lap. Hederscheid goes. Will this be the time for Dyson to pull it in? Because Hederscheid's going to have a very good lead once it comes to it. But of course, Dyson will have those fresh tyres towards the end of the race as well as Foster.
But in saying that too, Carl, as you said, if we get a caution between now and the end of the race, I'd say there'll be a lot of guys dive in and put that last set of boots on.
Yeah, it could really spice things up here. It could shake orders up an awful amount if that caution falls. Just looking in 4th and 5th positions at the moment, we have Stevie Dub and Noddy Tompkins, those two drivers that were helped a bit with that early caution, and both made a nice heap of positions. Lachlan Erpio just sitting behind that group now as well, so they've got a nice buffer. Foster in pit lane. So 53 comes chugging down pit lane now for his, what he'd hope would be the final stop of the race. And into the box he goes. Looks like he set it up there nicely. Dyson coming into pit lane this time around. So just the 1 lap extra out there for Dyson. So Foster can't really gain much of an advantage. And Foster will be pulling out of pit lane. Dyson will be pulling into his pit box very, very shortly. So we are underway. Josh Micklemore also coming in this time round as well. So Stevie Dub in the lead of this race. He's going to come across and get that lap led. 30 laps remaining here now. It's going to become an absolute sprint to the end. And the question is, who's going to time it to perfection? You know, you can push a little bit too early. Or Micklemore misses.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Micklemore just missed his pit box. He had to reverse that car up a little bit.
That is so costly in a green stop situation. Now, where will Dyson come out? Dyson comes out into 7th position. Edward Foster in 11th.
Yeah.
So,
I actually thought Ed may have gone for the an off-key strategy and just taken 2. But that, then again, that'll kill him if there is a late race caution.
yeah, and being the stint length and the tyre problems they've been saying they're having, I think 2 would be a bit of a death sentence out there today. Just looking at times, there was no real big time loss there. I think it is just the gap that Dyson had. Those 3 seconds has been the difference between an awful lot of traffic and traffic, I say positions. Foster has fallen back a few spots and he's now got to pass a whole heap of cars, whereas Dyson has a nice clean road in front of him. So that little 3 second buffer as all round goes Ruben Phelps, was it? No, Lachlan Oquio. Round goes Oquio and the yellow flag is out. Was it Oquio? No, it wasn't Oquio. What was that? Is that?
Yeah, it may have been JCW. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, it was JCW. Sorry. I caught that in the far distance and couldn't quite get it up on my screen in the quick stage there, but that was JCW. I saw a light bluish car going round. So
Oh,
looks like contact. He's just lost the rear on the exit of the corner there, and it's gone looping around right into Barry Neal. And Darren Lobb just very, very almost collected Lobb and Foster after that one.
sorry, mate. In saying that, then I heard a sheet. He's back in pit lane. So is he going to throw that last set of tyres on it at the car, or is he just going to get fuel?
Well, he won't need fuel though, will he? Because there's only certain laps to go. So he's getting tyres, I would say. He's going to throw a new set of tyres. Will he just throw
Right side. Foster's in pit lane behind him. No, Daniel's taken all 4, and Foster's taken 2. Foster's only taken that right side tyre.
Mix of strategies here, absolutely. So this is going to shake things up a little bit. If we go green from here, it's going to be it'd be interesting to see how this pays off. So Stevie Dubb stayed out there. Josh Micklemore, Ruben Phelps, Jason Martin. Well, Stevie Dubb came in, I think, just the lap before, so he's only done a handful of laps on those tyres. But Andrew Dyson, of course, he stopped under green. He's leading with about 5 laps on those tyres. And Jason Martin, 8 laps, 9 laps for Ruben Phelps, 5 laps for Micklemore, and 2 laps for Stevie Dubb. So this could work out perfectly for Stevie Dubb.
Definitely could. And where's our mates Noddy and Matty Raymond?
So Noddy's down in 12th at the moment, and Matty Ray in 15th position. But they managed to make their stops under. Noddy's made his stop under caution, and he has another set of tyres that he can pop on that car as well. So drivers with an extra set of tyres: Dyson, Martin, Phelps, Micklemore, Stevie Dubb, Urquio, Tompkins, and that's it by my little screen. So if we get a late caution here, it's going to be it could really spice things up for a lot of drivers. But 25 laps, we could easily go green to the end, and that will be probably better for those drivers on the very fresh tyres now. So this is going to shake things up an enormous amount. What would have been your sort of choice there, Mark?
I would have actually taken the 4 tyres, just so that everything's back even and where nice square car again. But in saying that, if anyone can make the 2 tyres work, it's Foster.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how those 2 tyres work out. He'd only done a handful of laps on the tyres to begin with, so there's not much difference between them. And we do know that tyres that have done a couple of rotations will heat up a bit quicker as well. So that car's probably going to be a bit of a pig to get around for the first 2 laps, as things are just out of balance with the temperature. But when it all comes together, I think it should be an absolute flyer. But he's got a lot of drivers around him that have also taken 4 tyres. So it's only Foster that's taking that gamble with the 2 tyres. And, well, you know how it goes with gambling. It either pays off or it doesn't.
Yeah, too right. I don't know. I really don't know if it's been the right choice. But as I said, if anyone can make it work, it's Foster. Seen him do it many a time, and it's paid off for him.
So it is going to be Dyson leading once the pace car comes in up to the restart zone. Martin in second, Micklemore third, fourth for Phelps, fifth for Urquio, Stevie Dubb in sixth. Pace car comes in, and away we go. It is Dyson who leads us down. 24 laps to go. We're coming towards the end of this race. Looks like Heddershire's trying for a big run early on as they go too wide into the first corner. Foster going up high. It looks like he's trying to go up round the outside of the car, see if he can get a run off the corner here. He's going to try and get a run start here. Down the back straight we go. 3 wide for a few moments there as they get into the corner. Foster getting past, gets up, gets contact into the wall. Foster makes contact with the wall, so does Stevie Dub. Both those cars making a little scrape into the wall, but it's not cost them much speed. They've managed to get off the corner. 3 wide between Foster, Heddershide and Neil Pearson. Pearson just lifting off a little bit. Heddershide decides better of it, pulled back behind Neil Pearson there. Absolute chaotic start, but everybody's away and there's no cars on their roof.
No, Pearson coming out of 2 then got a little bit tail happy. And he did well to get out of that gas and bring that car back straight, because that could have been very, very expensive and taken out a heap of cars if it snapped on him.
Yeah, that is always the perils now of cars that are really going to be racy for this final part of the race, these final 20 or so laps. Look at that, gets a big snap on the corner, just saves it there. You saw it at the top edge of your screen. Very, very close to disaster there for the 42. I'm watching at the moment Ruben Phelps, who's battling up at the front after his perils in the early stages of this race. We're going to see a replay of that Urquio catch. Big save there coming off the corner. He absolutely got that one under control and got it back in the right direction. That would have been so easy to hit into the wall.
I'll tell you what, I know there's one dirt track person that would have been proud of that one, and that's Steve Kinzer.
Fastest lap of the race for Dyson, up in the lead. 33.1 for him. A good 3 tenths faster than Jason Martin behind him, who has a whole pack of cars battling away. It's Martin versus Micklemore versus Pearson versus Foster versus Phelps versus Heddershide, Williams, Neil, and Worley. The pack down to 10th position, all fighting away. As Foster gets a run here on Pearson, he's looking to make a bit of a move down the inside as they go into the corner. Gets tight in the mid-corner. Heddershide looking on the high side. Pearson in the middle. Foster trying to go down the inside. Oh, Phelps gets loose on the exit. Manages to collect the car there. Foster trying to get the run on Josh Micklemore now. Will he make it through here? These cars are really battling hard, and this is helping Dyson pull away at the front. A 1.5 second lead for him.
Yeah, definitely. Foster really needs to get past these guys and get back up to keep this championship alive.
Yeah, it's going to be a chase for him at the moment, as the name of the championship suggests, but he is really chasing for it, having to get past Josh Micklemore now, and Micklemore's not going to make it easy for him. He is still in contention, remember, so is Martin. They are all wanting to get a good result tonight, and these cars are absolutely going for it tooth and nail. 17 laps remaining here for the ANZCAR Cup, brought to you by 24/7 Sim Services.
3 wide down the back straight. Oh man, this is great racing by these guys.
3 wide at Homestead. It's a little bit scary, but they make it work.
Now Foster switched to the high line, and he's got a great run here. If he can keep the power on through the mid corner and out the other side, he should be able to get past Martin.
Foster has got fresher tyres than the guys around him, so has Neil Pearson. Neil Pearson's got 4 fresh boots on his car. Foster has just got the right side. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one pays off as the remainder of this race goes. But you can see the difference now as we've got a good 10 or so laps into this stint. The fresh tyres are starting to come back to these guys, and they're starting to pay off a little bit. They're getting their way forward, but they have to now chase down Andrew Dyson. 2.5 seconds lead, 15 laps to go. I've got to say, pace of these fresh tyres should be pretty good. First car to break Dyson's faster laps is Neil Pearson. Just a couple of attempts faster than Dyson, but they are going to be chasing him down now.
Yeah, I just hope for Foster's sake that he hasn't taken the best out of those tyres, trying to get through that field and back up into second place. And
That is,
Pearson's making a move on him now.
it's always the concern when you've got those fresh boots underneath you, not to take too much life out of them. So easy to do because it's like getting a fantastic meal. You just got to try and pace yourself and not eat too much too quickly.
Yeah, and Pearson's made that move. Beautiful move underneath to move into second.
Got to say that probably Heddershide and Pearson are going to be some of the faster cars now. You know, with all four of those tyres, it looks like they've got a little bit of an advantage over Foster, who doesn't quite have the same pace as them. He still seems to have better pace than some of the cars that didn't take tyres, but he looks to just be struggling a little bit. His teammate Heddershide gets past him and comes up behind Neil Pearson. Remember, Heddershide also in the chase as well, so he is going to be wanting to get a good result tonight and hoping that those around him don't have such a great result as they're having at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Just seen Pearson having another great run. Just been out of position that car beautifully on the track to stop any type of run.
Great positioning for Pearson. He's just keeping it right in the middle of the track, right in the middle of the line as they come into the corner, and that's not allowing Heddershide to get anywhere on his outside or his inside. He is keeping that car planted nice and firmly in the middle. There is action behind as well. We've got a fair few cars battling out of track, but we'll probably keep up the front for the moment because that is where where a lot of the action is happening. We've got as they come through the corner between Paul Jackson, Maddie Ray, and Thomas Johnson, Grant Walden. It's got to be battling hard. Paul Jackson now coming back, getting past Adam Malone. So the fight is not over towards the tail end of the field either.
Sorry, mate, I've been keeping an eye on that battle. They just come through turns 3 and 4, Heddershide and Pearson, and they were leaning on each other. And Pearson's been able to come away back in the second spot.
Meanwhile, Andrew Dyson has pulled out almost a 3-second lead now at the front. He's very lonely up the front, and which usually means no TV time for him. So he's not getting too much love up there because we've got some serious action behind him between his teammate and Daniel Heddershide. Heddershide really pushing Pearson at the moment, and then the battle from 11th down is still absolutely chaotic. Keeping a little bit of an eye on that group because they are absolutely pushing those cars to the limit.
What Ed really needs here is another caution to close that gap up. But in saying that too, Noddy, was that Noddy getting a real slide on?
Yeah, big moments. The trouble is for Foster now, though, if caution comes out, he hasn't got any tyres. Well, he's got left sides, I suppose, that he can slap on there. But he is out of the right side tyres, whereas something like Dyson could easily come in and put them on. But saying that, Dyson would have to fight his way through the field. He would lose a lot of track position coming into pit lane. So that would really create a bit of a conundrum for some of these drivers.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if we went caution now, we probably may even see an overtime race.
Yeah, just glancing at the time, I didn't realise it had gone so quickly. Mark, keeping me company up here, it makes the time fly.
Well, I'll see what happens when you don't lock the door on me.
I know, we need to talk to those locksmiths.
Oh, Daniel just got a big slide on there, coming out of 4.
Big moment for him, and just in front of him, Pearson had to do a little bit of a correction as well. And it still shows it is absolutely perilous out there. It only takes a moment and you can find yourself in the wall and out of this race.
Yeah, definitely. And the way, well, you know yourself, and so does a lot of other people that may be watching that do race these things. these things snap, and when they snap, there's no real. You either catch it or you don't.
It's a coin toss, isn't it, when they snap? As we see.
Foster might have just been hanging back there a little bit and letting these two take the best out of their tyres. He's all of a sudden found speed.
Yeah, he's getting the speed back in the car. We've got 5 laps remaining. There is a 2.8 second lead for Dyson ahead of Neil Pearson at the moment. So Foster really needs to pull the pin if he's got anything left to chase after that. But watch out for Barry Neal there just behind. He is up there and he is ready to try and get another good result.
A little bit of rubbing there between Hedderside and Neil.
And that has dropped them both off of Foster by a good few car lengths, giving Foster a bit of breathing room as there's a bit of rubbing going on between Micklemore and Philip Wally there. Bit of contact there from those two, and now it's Micklemore and Erkio side by side through the corner.
And Erkio got a bit of failure there as he come off onto that straight.
Not the place you want to do it, especially when there's a car hanging on your outside. But they get onto the track and they both keep going. 3 laps going, or 2.5 laps almost. By the time I finish that sentence, we are very much getting to the closing stages of this race and getting close to those 2 rounds to go now. It is not far for Dyson to come. You can almost smell the back checker flags. Oh, who's that big moment? That was Paul Jackson. That was a huge moment. Big snap off of turn 2, but manages to collect it up. Just got that back in the right place. Luckily, there's a bit of runoff on that low side because he needed every inch of that with that moment. But luckily for him, everything okay. As Andrew Dyson's coming around, and he will see that white flag flown any second now. With only 2.4 kilometres to go for Andrew Dyson tonight, he must be feeling very confident now. Neil Pearson just behind him with Foster. That battle has broken up a little bit. Barry Neal currently in 4th. Looks like the main fight's a little bit further back, but Dyson having a good run out here tonight and absolutely on fire, setting those fastest laps just after the caution to pull out a nice gap.
Yeah, definitely. Again, Dyson's just been able to show his talent, and yeah, he's come a long way since joining the oval ranks.
And it is Dyson taking the win ahead of teammate Neil Pearson. Foster comes home in 3rd position, Barry Neal in 4th, Daniel Heddershide in 5th, Stevie Dove comes home 6th, 11 positions gained, biggest gainer of the race. Philip Worley in 7th position, Josh Micklemore 8th, Lachlan Oakio 9th, and Matty Ray, he was quiet in that race, but he still managed 10th position.
Yeah, definitely. Great racing by all the guys here this afternoon. It's been really good. With this car just been so over the place this season. And let's hope the changes that'll come next year will settle the car down a lot.
Yeah, just his saving on that one as well, just keeping those tyres alive. It's been a good run there, and we see he's going to use up every inch of that rubber available now. Or he's just decided to park it and have a nice relax. But no, there it is. There it is. Burning up the tyres. It is Andrew Dyson celebrating a well-deserved victory here tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway for round 33 of the ANZCAR Cup, watched by 24/7 Sim Services and, of course, Performance e-streaming on YouTube and the ANZCAR page on Facebook.
He's had plenty of practice at this, so he should. We'll have to lay him down a challenge to see if he can burn the tyres, or if he wins the championship, or blow the motor.
Yeah, well, we'll have to put that challenge down to him. So let's run through the finishing order for tonight's race, the unofficial results. It is Dyson taking victory ahead of Pearson, Foster in third, Neil in fourth, Heddershide fifth, sixth for Stevie Dubb, seventh for Walling, Micklemore in eighth, ninth for Erquio, 10th for Maddie Ray. All over the page, Martin comes home in 11th position with Adam Malone 12th, Tompkins in 13th, 14th for Jackson, 15th for Phelps, Karen Walden in 16th position, a handful of laps down with Darren Lobb with that early connection issue in 17th position. Getting up a few spots, Aidan Schultz in 18th and 19th position. Out of the race early was Tom Pritchard.
Yeah, unfortunately for Aidan and Tom, early retirements, but I'm quite sure we'll see them next week at Martinsville.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is where we're heading off next to Martinsville. Always a tricky place and always a good one to watch. It should be interesting to see how that one runs for these competitors. So, what we might do, Mark, is I might grab up our third place finisher, Mr. Edward Foster, and give you a chance to have a bit of a chat with him.
Yep, all right. Good evening, Mr. Foster, and congratulations on third place, mate. Probably not the way you would have liked to have seen the race end, but took the chance there with the two tyres at that last stop.
Yeah, definitely. Did not fancy fighting through all of those cars on fresh rubber. Long run pace was pretty good. I think I was better on the long run than just about everybody bar Daiso, who just had it hooked up like really, really well. And I didn't really fancy trying to get through those guys. So I thought, all right, we'll take a gamble on two, jump a few spots, and that let me sort of start a little bit closer to the front. But I didn't. I actually thought more cars came in than what they did, and I was surprised when I came back out and found sort of 6 or 7 cars up there in front of us. But you got to try these things. Roll the dice. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I think overall it worked. It wasn't able to get me in front of Daiso, and obviously Pearson had a good turn of speed there at the end on the four fresh boots. But the two was okay. Like, I can't complain about it. It was just slightly, like, the car was still pretty well balanced. It was probably just slightly less overall grip than 4, but it was still quite fine to drive.
Yeah. Do you think having to battle your way through may have just taken the edge off or the best out of those tyres?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't help. Obviously, it would have been nicer to be, sort of running around. But, I mean, I don't think that was the difference between winning and losing. I think it was just, the way it turned out. So, those guys are looking after their races. My little private battle here with Daiso is not their problem. So, they've got to do what's best for them. And I wound up in the spot that I was in because the cautions fell when they did. And, it just kind of hurt me. So... but that being said, I think Daiso in a straight fight had me pretty well covered tonight. So maybe I would have got ahead of Neil, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, we're off to Martinsville next week, mate. I know it's a track that you don't mind, but again, as we said earlier in the broadcast, short tracks could be a little bit like super speedways. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I like Martinsville. I've won there before in the Cup. It's a place where I've always gone reasonably well, and you could sort of argue that the last 2 years it was sort of what happened at Martinsville that's sort of won the championship for us. So it can be a crucial sort of turning point there. But again, it's one of those places where guys who are really good under brakes, so guys who are really good on the road courses and stuff, like Daiso, like Pearson, like Worley is, all those guys who are good on the road courses, they're going to shine because there's a lot more braking there and a lot more braking technique involved than maybe a place like this. So, it's kind of hard when you're fighting against guys with no weaknesses, man. But, all you got to do is do your best.
Well, mate, we've all said that this was going to come down to probably the last round, and it's heading that way. All we can say is, mate, is best of luck for the rest of the chase. And before we let you go, love to your sponsors and supporters, mate.
Yeah, definitely. So shouts out to AJD and Fully Flawed team sponsors. Shouts out to Daiso and Pearson and all those dudes that we were racing around at the end. It was really good. We're banging on each other and everything. And that's the kind of thing that you can do in this style of racing. One of the things that makes it really fun. So that was pretty cool. Shouts out to Daniel. He did obviously the best he could tonight. He's still in with the championship fight, so he's very much sort of still trying to fight for that. It might be getting a bit late in the day for him now, but up until tonight, he was definitely right in it. Just shout to everybody for coming out and you guys with the broadcast and everything else. Not much else to say than that, I suppose.
Yeah, no, thanks, mate. I'm always happy to come call one of the ANZCAR's races, because it is some of the best racing in Australia and New Zealand. And as you said, that you don't get much closer racing than you guys leaning on each other mid corner, and still everyone coming away and having a go on and bench race and post race.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, here we are again. I mean, I've been in the top 3 every single chase race so far, and I'm still losing. I'm still behind. So that's almost unheard of. So if Daiso goes on to take the title from me, no one can say he doesn't deserve it, because he's doing a great job.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, looking forward to seeing what you can do at Martinsville next week. Again, congratulations on 3rd place. And just unfortunate it didn't work out it's worked out the best it could for you tonight. And we hope to be talking to you again up here next week at the end of Martinsville.
Yeah, if I can't win the championship, I'd love to be able to get top 3 in every chase race. That'd be a pretty cool achievement. So, we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ed. And we'll hopefully talk to you next week.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Well, boys, there you go. Something for Matt to do a bit of research for us for next week. Has there ever been someone that's finished in the top 3 in every chase race so far? So we'll have that answer for you next week.
Get the old abacus out for that one.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a feat in itself if you can do it. We'll just have to wait and see what the answer is. And now we're joined in for the two weeks in a row. This is starting to get a bit of a bad habit for this person after the start that he had to the chase. Second place getter, Mr. Neil Pearson.
Cheers. It's a lot better, to be honest. I mean, I think I changed my car number, the color of it last week, and I think that's just given me everything.
Yeah, fair enough. Mate, some great racing there between you and Ed, and right throughout the race. Being able to lean on people. With that last stop, did you even think of taking just a 2 like Ed?
No, I don't like taking 2 tires, especially like with about 26 laps to go. I find so Ed was faster than me the whole night. He had more pace, and I think I had him in that final stint simply because of the 2 tires. I understand the strategy call and why he did it, but for me, I think 4 tires is always the call. Maybe there was 5 laps to go, I'd do it to try to get track position, but yeah, in that situation, 4 tires.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, it's you haven't had the greatest of chase. I must say we were happy to hear that you didn't lose your win from last week. So that's
I was
a bonus.
very happy to, yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of chats with Ed, and we came up with a system where he could view my data and on VRS, and thankfully he accepted that, and so I was very happy.
Yeah, no, that was good. A second place tonight. That'll move you up in. I think that may move you into the top 5 in the chase, even though it's probably too late to win the thing. You've got to be happy to finish in the top 5 with the way you started the chase.
Yeah, basically, it's just see what I could get. I don't know if I'll move into fifth. I think I got about 30 odd points to I think Jason or Josh. So that's a pretty big deficit. So I think I would have made some ground on Josh or Jason, whichever one it is, and which is good. But it's going to be interesting to see if I can catch them. I mean, my end of the goal is to make top 5 at the least. Just get as high as I can, and yeah, just get the results. It's what I've been missing. Sadly, as we've all said in the first half of this chase, it's been pretty abysmal. So if I could just keep doing 1, 2, 3s, talking to you guys, hopefully get up to fifth.
Well, mate, maybe it's maybe now that you've got that one, it is talking to us that's doing it for you, and I'm happy to take that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always love coming to talk to you guys after. I've always had a good race if I have, so I can't
Yeah,
complain.
yeah. Well, mate, we're off to Martinsville next week. Like or hate?
I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. Especially in these cars, you can't do anything in them. So it's going to be caution fest, unfortunately, because people get frustrated and stick their nose where they shouldn't. And I don't even think we'll see pit stops. That's my prediction.
Okay, well, that's the prediction that we'll have to wait and see if it'll come true. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth, mate. Love the sponsors and supporters before we let you go.
I'll let Daiso do that. He's coming next, so I'll let him do it. But I will say, just thanks to you guys, the broadcast, Ed, for everything last week. I really appreciate what he did. And yeah, just my teammates for fantastic racing that we do.
Well, mate, I've got to say thanks for putting on such a great show. I'm don't often get a chance and to come call races, but when I can, I totally enjoy it because you guys really put on a show, and I just wish more people could get to tune into it live and see the type of show you guys put on.
Yeah, I mean, we had a fantastic race. Like that last stint, that was chaos. I mean, because you had the two Mitch boys up front on the 10 plus lap tires, and they really created a bottleneck. And I think that ultimately really helped Daiso just clear out. And I did everything I could to keep Daniel behind me because I knew he was faster, and if I could keep him behind me, I was hoping he'd maybe burn up his tires, and it's exactly it went to plan for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just everything I could do, I did, and obviously I'm helping Daiso with championship as well, so it's a bonus for the team and Daiso.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, congratulations again on second place. And let's hope we're talking to you again for a third week in a row next week. So, yeah, we'll hopefully talk to you next week at Martinsville.
Hopefully. You guys have a great night.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Well, Carl, that's another happy chappy. So, not a fan of Martinsville. I thought he would have liked Martinsville.
Not had the best luck from memory for Neil. It's been speaking of luck again with Neil Pearson, it's been a bit of bad luck, and hopefully we can prove him wrong on that prediction next time out. But these cars can be very tricky around Martinsville for sure.
Yeah, it's a place where people just got to take their time and be patient and really just let the track come in, let the car go to the track, and wait and see what happens.
Very much so.
Well, we're joined by the championship leader and race winner, Mr. Andrew Dyson. Congratulations, Andrew, on another great win in the chase.
Hey guys, thanks for that. Yeah, that was a good one. That one, I think either myself or Ed really needed to get a win to get some bonus points and try and either close the gap or make a tiny little gap. So yeah, needed that one.
Yeah, I think you may have just pulled out a bit of a gap there with Ed finishing third, but I still say it's going to come down to that last round of the chase at Phoenix.
Yeah, it will be because the point system's obviously 1 point per position, so it's very close. And to get a small gap, it does help a lot when you kind of finish in first, second, or third with one other guy or two other guys every week. So it does make a bit of a difference to have a little bit of a gap, but at the same time, yeah, it's very close point structure. And if you finish like 10 spots back, well, you lose like 10 points, don't you? So
Yeah,
it'll still come down to the last race for sure.
Yeah, mate, we've seen a lot of guys struggle on tyres tonight, but you just seem to have your head around these tyres and this car here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same for everyone. We all had the same thing. I mean, there wasn't really too many different techniques you could throw at it. It was always going to be super loose coming off a 4 and probably not as much, but on 2 as well, and the exit at 2. So, yeah, I mean, once you're out the front sort of thing, you've got the clear air, you can use that. I tried to use that as best as I could in the second stint after that restart. Worked in my favour a bit, so that was good.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You got some great jumps on the restart, and it just took people so much time to catch you once you got that little bit of a jump.
Yeah,
I was going to say, is it something that you guys have been working on in practice? Because I know that some of you do practice through the week.
No, not really, man. It's just you roll up to the zone, you pick a time to go, and you go. It's completely random, and I guess that's what keeps everyone guessing. Like you've just got to go at a random time, and everyone's doing the same thing. You just got to go whenever you think is the right time, and I'm pretty settled, or or it's a bit calm, or it just went quiet all of a sudden, or just whatever reason you come up with in your own mind. I'll hit the throttle now, and yeah, there's no real special trick to it. You just go when you go, and everyone else has got to try and guess it, really, no matter when you go.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, we're off to Martinsville next week. Again, same question as your teammate, love or hate?
Oh, not a bad track to drive around, but terrible racing. It's great in real life because you can use bumpers, get into people and stuff, but on the game, the cars are kind of like clinking bricks together. I mean, they just bounce off each other. They don't really have any sort of squish about them. I mean, I guess they do at the moment, which is good. They've improved that, but the racing's not so great. So it's just a matter of survival for everybody, I think.
Yeah, I've said earlier in the broadcast, they're a little bit like a super speedway. It's got to have a little bit of luck go your way at the short tracks and not get involved in anyone's accidents.
Yeah, that's certainly right, man. It can be pretty treacherous out there if you're not in the right spot on the track at the right time. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, mate, great race tonight. Again, you go away from here with the championship lead. And before we let you go, love to sponsors and supporters.
Oh, I was just
going to say, because Neil left that up to you.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I think he was pretty wrecked after today and yesterday. He had some shit going on. Oh, excuse me, he had some stuff going on. But yeah, no, I'll just shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast as always. ANZCAR for putting the whole thing together. 24/7 sim services for Get Behind the League and all the other sponsors who've chipped in or anyone else who's helped out financially during the year. Appreciate it a lot to get the broadcast and the series happening. Quick shout out to all the boys at TPR. Love your work. Thanks, Neil. I think no one's more happier than Neil. Actually, I probably am the happiest guy that Neil's luck's can turn around, I can tell you. So shout out to Neil. And yeah, quick thanks to Simrigs.com, South Elliston Hoist, Bemex Mechanical, Phoenix Smokers, and Neil for the paint jobs as always.
Yeah, well, mate, congratulations on another great race win. And hopefully we're talking to you next week at Martinsville.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. That'd be nice.
Yeah, thanks very much for your time tonight, Andrew. And again, congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
So off to Martinsville next time out, Mark.
Yeah, I was just going to say, three different views on Martinsville next week. I'm going to say it's going to throw a curveball into this championship.
I got a feeling you might be right. It's so very close up at the top. I was just looking through the old stats and things like that of the season, and it's so close between Foster and Dyson for top 10 finishes. Just one between them. Andrew Dyson with that 26 top 10 finishes, Foster with 25. And that's the sort of difference it's making, and it could easily be something as simple as just finishing outside that top 10 at Darlington could easily be the reason you win the championship or lose it. So with 2 rounds remaining here for the ANZCAR Cup, it's going to be fast and furious action. We hope you can join us next time at Martinsville. A big thank you tonight to Mr. Matty Hunter doing all the hard work while we just chat away here. Myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you, and of course Mark Johansson. Wish you a good night, and we'll see you again next time.